Come closer to me. You're hiding. Are we going to play this game again?
No, we're not
playing this game. Come closer to me.
I'm not coming closer. Okay, so I know a lot of you guys probably get some complaints from your tenants, and you don't know what to do. You want to know how to deal with it. So what is the best way to diffuse a complaining tenant and prevent them from turning into a bigger problem?
Yeah, this is something that a lot of newer landlords are terrified to deal with, that they receive a complaint from one tenant, then they have to confront a problem tenant. So what we're going to do is walk you through our process, give you an example of something that we recently dealt with. This is super important that you deal with potential problem tenants right away.
If you have to call one of your tenants and diffuse a situation, there's a few things you can do that will make the difference between a phone call turning really negative real quickly or totally diffusing the situation and having a happy tenant at the end of the phone call.
So the first thing is to define your objective. So what are you actually looking to get out of the phone call? Do you really want to evict this person, or are you looking to salvage the relationship? You want to get your tenant on the phone so that you can evaluate them as an individual, and you also want to be able to evaluate the problem as a whole.
You want to make this phone call in a very non-accusatory type of way. Have a look. Okay, so Amanda got a call from a couple of our tenants that live in one of our basement units complaining about the people that live above them. I guess there's some kind of noise complaint. He has been getting into some big fights or arguments with his part-time girlfriend, and this was all happening at like 1 or 2 in the morning. We have to deal with this. We don't want to lose any of our tenants, but we definitely don't want to lose our tenants that are currently living in the basement because they're quality tenants. So Amanda has just made a few notes.
Amanda can speak about what Amanda's doing if that's okay with Marty.
Yeah. Well, give me a break.
Don't get too close to me. I'm not wearing any makeup.
So what kind of questions have you got written down there?
The first question is, I want to ask him, if one of your neighbors were to have a complaint about you, what would it be? Another question that I want to ask is, can you tell me how you've been respectful to your neighbors? And another really great question to ask is, well, then who do you believe is the problem? And Marty's also going to be silent throughout the phone call because sometimes he gets really, really mad.
The number you have reached is not in service. Please check the number and try your call again.
That is not a good sign. So here's what's going to happen. Marty and I are going to complete our workout for the night.
Okay, so
Workout complete, first of all.
do you notice something there?
Okay, Popeye.
Which way to the kitchen?
That's not the purpose of this video.
Which way to the beach?
Okay. Stop, Arnold.
Which way to the apartment?
Amanda emailed the tenant. Apparently he has a different number now.
Another phone. This is Amanda calling your landlord. Please give me a call back as soon as possible.
And one more final thing too, pal. Oh, you hung up? I wanted to say something.
What? Were you gonna flex through the phone?
I was gonna intimidate him, tell him where to go.
Were you gonna intimidate him with your slick hair?
I was gonna tell him, don't mess with the landlord, pal.
You were gonna go.
Hi, is this Amanda?
Oh, hey there. I'm glad we connected. I know we've gone back and forth in the last couple hours here. So I just wanted to chat with you about a couple issues that have been raised to my attention. I just want to start by asking, if one of your neighbors had submitted a complaint, what do you think that might be?
Possibly some arguing.
Would you like to elaborate on arguing?
What's the complaint?
Okay. I've received multiple complaints about excessive noise at unreasonable hours, screaming, sounds of things breaking, aggressive behavior, etc., to the point where they were concerned enough that they were going to call the police.
Oh, okay. There has been an argument. You know, everything's been dealt with on my end, and that, well, it's not an ongoing problem.
Okay, because up until this point, it has been reported to be an ongoing problem. So when you say it's been resolved on your own, what does that mean?
It was a bit of a hiccup, and I understand your point completely, and I just want to assure you that this will be the last time that we have to talk about this. That it's not an ongoing issue.
And if I were to, come in for an inspection of the property, is there anything that I would find that I would dislike? No broken doors?
Exactly. No, gosh.
No holes in my walls?
Yeah.
Part of your responsibility. I expect you to be a good tenant. I expect for you to live peacefully and amicably with all your neighbors, and you're responsible for all your guests to the property. So, I know you're a grown man. I don't want to have this conversation.
I am completely, sympathetic to your point and dealing with this. So just rest assured that we won't have to have this conversation again.
Okay. So okay, good. I'm glad to hear. So I also understand there's always two sides to the story, and that's why
Yes.
I wanted to connect with you and speak to you about it. So here's what's going to happen. So I'm going to, document that we've had this conversation, okay? And I'm going to keep a copy into your tenant file as well, and I'm going to provide you a copy of what that documentation looks like.
Okay.
Okay, so it's just going to confirm that we had this conversation, that you're agreeing to, rectify the situation, you're going to live peacefully in the house, you're not going to be disruptive to the neighbors. And if that's it and it ends there, then we're going to call it a day. And if it so happens to be an ongoing problem, then we're going to have a different conversation.
Yeah, fair enough. I can respect that completely.
Okay. I think I'm going to leave it at that unless you have any other questions for me or if you wanted to add anything. I appreciate you taking the time to speak to me. And I'm just going to drop off that notice in your mailbox just so that you've got a copy and that you're aware of what I'm keeping in your file as well. I hope you have a good night, and I hope that we will not be talking again soon.
Okay, Amanda.
Okay, take care.
Thanks.
Bye.
Good night.
You
Bye-bye.
too.
Good job, honey.
So
You should work for a company that teaches people how to do that exact thing.
So a couple important points to note here. That again, of course, when you're going to be speaking to one of your tenants on the phone, they are going to be on their very best behavior. It's also important that you stay completely calm, you stick to the facts, you don't get into too much of the nitty-gritty about any sort of details and such. Discuss the situation at hand and also let them know that you mean business. And what I'm talking about for this notice that I'm going to drop off in his mailbox is actually a legal eviction warning. But also now he knows that I'm all over it and that I'm not taking any shit.
He won a bit of my confidence in him back.
What I found in some of my more recent professional training is that if you ask people questions, it gets them thinking rather than accusing them of something.
Yeah.
So that was my opening question was, if somebody was to complain, what do you believe it would be? So
Because
we all know what we're talking about here, but if I jumped in accusing him, he would instantly jump into, well, I would expect that he would jump into defense mode.
From a psychological perspective, when you're asking them what the problem is, they're deciding what it is that they've done wrong instead of you telling them what they've done wrong. What's for dinner?
Tacos? I wish it would rain tacos.
I wish it would rain tacos into my mouth. It's always best to keep a tenant if they're paying the rent and they're not damaging your property. So you definitely don't want to go the route of kicking someone out or starting the eviction process if you don't have to. Immediately after the phone call, we reached out to the basement tenants and just let them know that we had dealt with the problem.
It's super important that you always have open lines of communication with your tenants.
You definitely want to make sure that your tenants know you are committed to providing a safe and comfortable living environment for them to enjoy.
Yeah. We've dealt with a lot of problem tenants over the years, so if you want to, swap landlord stories, let us know. We could definitely have some good laughs over that.
We'd love to hear about it in the comments below, right?
Yeah.
Right there.
There?
Right there.
Right there. Not thumbs down. Don't thumbs down our video.
Well, it's thumbs up. from my perspective.
No good, no good. In the comments below.